Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Pooja Upadhyay from Department of Advanced Management Studies, GS College of Commerce, Wardha. In my previous video session, we introduced with the concept of digital marketing research. We have also seen various features of this digital marketing research. In this video session, we are going to learn the different steps applied in order to make effective digital marketing research. So let's start. The very first step of digital marketing research is identifying need of research. The research can be undertaken for various reasons, like for identifying the solution of particular problem arriving during the execution of digital marketing, or planning or making an effective and strong strategy for digital marketing. So in this step, the researcher has to find out the answer of the question that what is the exact need of this research, and according to that he implement the further steps of this digital marketing research. In the next step, he determines the research objective. These research objectives are the expected objectives of the research, where the researcher write down what he expect after implementing this whole research. Means if the research is implementing or carrying out for finding the answer of the question, for finding the solution of problem, then what's the expected solution of that problem? That expected solution is considered as the objective of the research. Similarly, in case of structuring effective strategy for digital marketing, so the expected strategy is the objective of this research. In the third step, means in the next step, it determines the type and sources of required data. The data is of two different types. The data can be a primary data or secondary data. And for collecting these both type of data, different sources are utilized by the researcher. For collecting primary data, the researcher can be use any method or a group of method like online survey, or consumer online watch in detail the consumer online behavior, or can observe the activities of consumer on various online platform. Then he can give various type of questionnaire or to the consumer to collect the to know the views related to product or services. So different kinds of method can be used for collecting primary data. Whereas in case of secondary data is information which is already available on internet or any book or anything. So for collecting secondary data, he may simply refer various case studies related to digital marketing, or refer the information available on internet or various search engines. So here in this step he decides what type of data he want to collect and from what sources he is going to collect that data. This step plays very important role because on the basis of this sources and types of data, the further steps are completely dependent. Because if he is collecting primary data, then the whole research is going to be depend on that primary data. For collecting this data and for deciding which type or which source he is going to implement, the objective of research plays very important role. This objective gives the direction to the researcher to implement the further or to execute the further steps of research. The next step of this research is creating research design. This research design is simply a plan where the researcher note that what are the needs of research, or what are the objectives of research, then how much for completion of this whole research how much time he will require, how much money he required for executing the whole research. This all the answer of these all questions are systematically mentioned in this step of creating research design. Now, in the next step, this is sample designing step, where he analyze and he decide that he is going to collect the primary data from which sources or from which samples. Means if he choose the method of collecting data with the use of questionnaire, then he has to decide the sample for collecting the information or for giving questionnaire to them. So sample is just it's a people from whom he is going to collect that data. It may be people or sources. So here in this step he designs the sample for his research. Then the next step is data collection. In this step, he collects the data. Researcher collects the data for his research from the sources which he has already decided in this step 3. Means the sources which he defines in step 3, that from where he is going to collect the data. Then in this step of data collection, he implement and collect the data from that sources. Then in the next step, that is processing collected data, the overall data collected by the researcher is gathered, then scrutinized, and then segregated according to different elements. So this all is carried out in this step of processing collected data. This step is also very important from the perspective of researcher, because the systematically processed data is further utilized for analyzing and interpretation. So the conclusion or the solution of the whole research is depend upon how the researcher process this whole data. So this step is very important. Now, in the next step, researcher analyze the processed data with the use of various statistical devices or statistical methods, and then interpret. And here he identifies whether the objective which he has decided in the step 2 is as per his expectation, or there are certain changes, the solutions are not matching the expected objectives. So these are all matched in this step of analysis and interpretation. Then in the next step, he prepares the research report of this whole research. Here he mentioned all the steps which he has carried out for implementing this research. He mentioned the need of research, then the objectives of research, then the sources from where he has collected primary and secondary data, then how he processed this all collected data. The data collected and the path he has implemented in the whole research is properly mentioned in this research report. Finally, there is follow-up steps. Now here, if the solution of particular problem is founded by the researcher, and management impressed with their solution and he wants to implement that solution practically, then he implement that and take its follow-up. So this is the overall step which are followed or which are conducted in the research process of digital marketing. I hope you understand this each and every step. So this is all about this. In the next session, we are going to see one more interesting concept related to digital marketing research. Till then, be safe, keep learning. Thank you.